All right, so let's go straight to the conversation and talk about something very important. A lady sent this in.
Okay.
I told a friend of mine that I hardly get weight, and she advised that may be the reason I'm finding it difficult to conceive, because sperm doesn't travel in a dry body.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
Absolutely. But the first question we'll be asking is, why does she find it difficult to get weight? Is it that the man is not doing his job well, or she's averse to intercourse? There are many reasons that could cause that. Maybe she has this phobia around sex, and that makes her to have a dry vagina when she's about to have intercourse. And there are solutions to it as well. So dry vagina can also happen when a woman is getting into menopause, when her femininity has been lost because the hormones that makes a woman to be fresh and fine is no longer there. It can also happen if, like I said, there is no good foreplay before sex. You're just going to the action.
So what happens to people who are naturally dry?
So if that happens, there are also
is there a possibility of somebody being naturally dry?
It's possible.
Oh, okay. So what can be the cause of that?
Well, it would just have to be with our own hormonal makeup. It could be that our hormones are not the way it's supposed to be for a woman.
Okay.
Women are supposed to have more of estrogen and progesterone and less of the testosterone that you have in males. But there are some times that you may have these things not in the way the manufacturer, that is God in heaven, was designed it to be, and it will come down with those kind of dryness.
So you're confirming that there are possibility that might be the reason why you can find it difficult to conceive?
Exactly. The vaginal secretion.
So, but the artificial lubricant for that process, that doesn't help?
The question now is, what kind of lubricants is she using? There are ones you can see anywhere in the markets, the oil-based, the water-based, like the KY jellies, the Vaseline, and so on. Those ones are not effective and not they are not protective of the man's sperm. There are special ones that is advised.
Now, I need to understand something. So there are kinds of lubricant that you use and they to damage the man's sperm.
Of course.
So if you're not naturally wet,
and
there are specific lubricants you are advised to use.
Yes. I'll give you an example. There's what we call a Conceive Plus.
Okay.
CONCEIVE Plus. Conceive Plus is there. There's another one that we call a Pre-Seed. Pre-Seed is PRE-SEED. PRE-SEED. It can also be used. These ones, they make the vaginal environment to be alkaline, which is the natural way the vagina is supposed to be when it is wet.
Okay.
Without causing any destruction to the man's semen. The man's semen. When it comes in, it allows it to flow very well.
We'll come back to all of this because this is actually the deep conversations right now. But let me let Engineer Edo in this conversation by bringing something that will need his advice as someone who is really, really experienced. Okay. All right, so I have this question. I am 72. I have a son who is 36. And has refused to be useful to me, the family, and everybody around us. The boy is too troublesome, I don't understand what this means, so I will skip to the next part. This boy will not do anything and has been selling properties that I've suffered over the years to acquire for myself and my other children. How do I handle him? So you have a child who is not useful at 36.
You know, just like my friend doctor had spoken about things that are purely medical. In an instance like this also, just like a consultant would do, you need to have a historical picture of what is before you so that you know the appropriate medications or you could apply to. Unfortunately, he's not giving us a complete background of how it all started,
No, let me even add, if you're the sender of that message, we can't take a segment of your message is not clear, so you might want to resend that if you want to. And by the way, if you're sending messages to us, don't use abbreviation. I don't interpret some of those abbreviations. I might not even know them. So just try to write in full. Thank you so much.
So basically, there's a generic problem. Someone's 72, your child is 36 or 32, Abi?
36.
36, and almost like halfway his age. There's no story about how the family is constituted. Is there a wife? Is there other siblings? Where did it all start? First of all, as a parent, I'm not sure this phenomena is something that jumped from the sky. It possibly may have showing some signs at the early stages, which probably the man ignored. And whether you like it or not, it's a failed system that brings trauma on the man. And the man has not told us in some story, in that story, how it got there, and so that one can give another hint.
Okay, so let's forget about the man now. Begin to talk about children.
But when it starts like that, you need to sit back, because someone who is at 36 is also an adult to a certain degree. Some
4 years away from 40 should take responsibility.
So many things have been formed already at that stage, and for it to be amendable, it's not something you do just in a hushed way. That's why I am someone who is pretty concerned with building to getting somewhere. So when it's a failed system like that, you need to take a deep breath and assess the situation itself. You say, because here you are, if you are alive, and the guy, possibly from that description, probably not going to school. Possibly he has joined a gang or a group of people, and for me there's a dysfunctional system that your father is alive and the guy, your dad, is telling the public that
you're becoming a problem to the family.
You're selling properties when he's alive. I mean, the guy is going haywire, and no parent will actually like that. Now, if he, from what he's expressing, it's obvious also he has no control over him. That means he can't bring him to order.
The man is old already.
He's not listening. So the first thing is, like I said, they are multidimensional. You sit, either you find out, get into a conversation, find people whom he yields to.
Does he even listen to anybody?
Any other? We know. That's why I said the story is a bit
That's a
hazy.
problem.
Yes, because generically you have to do something. What do you do is also a matter. Obviously, you won't sit and fold your arms. And possibly, he doesn't engage the man in a conversation. And that, to me, is a painful experience. I'm a parent, so I can understand. And like I said, for 36-year-old, that means he's gone far.
You know, there's something that happened.
And I'm careful trying to proffer a solution. But something must be done.
But it doesn't even sound like there is a solution for a 36-year-old. Or is there a solution for?
At that age also, this is a man who at 70-something, I mean, he needs some measure of comfort in terms of the children around him, his family around him. He's getting older. So there are things he's beginning to value. The issue of comfort, warmth, care, and all that he's seeking from the family. He's not getting it. And it's not an easy thing. No wife is mentioned here. And I'm wondering how he's living. Is he living with the guy alone? And if possible, in some climes, you can seek for some psychiatric, even though they don't call it psychiatric now, they call it mental health. So call people who are probably experts. Is he into a habit that's been on for a long time psychologically and all that? Find out counselors who are good and engage them as well, because it's obvious it's failed in your hands already. So you need help and seek for that help to see how they can address it.
So engineer, I like to be a bit forward here. I'm trying to think of how do you even handle somebody who is 4 years away from 40? Because I mean,
you are particular about 40.
The man is 40. You guy is 4 years away from 40, and you're old already. There's little or nothing you can even do to this man, because that's a grown-up man. So, should you say I want to disown him so that he doesn't have access to my property? Is that too severe? Or should you say that I don't want to be identified or have anything to do with this child? I don't want to be a part of whatever you're doing. Or should you go on newspaper or on radio and say, these properties this man is selling doesn't belong to him if you buy at honest risks? Because at this point, you might also want to save your properties to take care of yourself, because the boy or the man, as it stands, cannot even do anything for you because he's not even responsible in the first place. So, and you're on your way to the grave, because at 70, how many years do you have? You have at most 20 or 30 more. If you live up to 100, let me exaggerate.
Let me say something. I'm speaking from a perspective of being a parent. I don't know of any genuine parent, no matter the should I say the misdemeanor of your child, that will find it easy to dismiss the child.
Exactly.
It's not a very easy issue. It's pretty emotional. You may not like what he's doing, but definitely that tinge of love and connection is still there.
So what happens when he begins to sell your property?
And well, it's not something you will love. In fact, to be very sincere, I see most parents even trying to see how they can contain it themselves and keep it to themselves instead of exposing their kids outside. I'm telling you the truth. It's easy said than done. I mean, if it was someone else, probably, they don't care, let them pick him up, lock him up, and then prosecute him. But the issue is that the depth of love that still exists and connection will wish the guy can be restored. That I've often seen in parents.
But I think it's late. I'm not giving up on the child, but
saying, for me, it's a bit hard at that level, but it's not impossible. I've seen people recover, just like he said when he was talking. Doc was talking about the decreasing ability to procreate, or should I say, to have a baby. But we've had instances where people do at 50, exceptional cases, but it's receding. At that level, it's quite tedious. Things you should have done when you were kids, and you're seeing it manifest in an adulthood. It's not something you change overnight. It will take a process. It will be painful. Some of the recovery processes can be very tedious. But it's not impossible.
Is there any place of prayer in this?
Well, I am spiritual, but then beyond that also practically you need to see things, begin to see. Even if you're so spiritual, even in the issue of faith will be proven. I have faith that I will succeed, but there will be a result that shows that indeed I was persuaded and I trusted and I was convinced that I will get it, and I walk accordingly to the faith. I say faith without works. So when both sides are at work, the results are predictable. Predictable. Unfortunately, it's a terrible state of life to see somebody be in anguish at 72 with a child of almost 40. Please, pretty.
Maybe you go and feed up. Okay. All right, so I have another one here, and let's go to this. So I'm about to say, I get on look. The I've seen them. I'm about to say, but I get on bundle. All right, so I will save that for later. Let me take something lighter. So if we have enough time, we'll come back to that one. Should you marry another wife after 15 years of marriage without a child, or will you still continue hoping on God?
You're asking someone who practically can give you a dose. MC Governor, if you want to go on the issue of faith, faith is a very powerful tool that even though you can imbibe and learn it, like the Bible said, faith comes by hearing, hearing by the word. Faith is a build-up which you can impact somebody, you can influence somebody, but you can't completely use your force your faith on someone. when I see people of faith, and here I am, I'm not necessarily referring to the Christian faith you're talking about, but I'm referring to somebody who has a tenacity and a persuasion and conviction about something. It's very difficult for that person to shift because it's an intangible thing. He has no rationality. Even though in applying it, it gets some physical results. Somebody tells you, no, I'm going to be the best footballer. And then he matches you with the practical examples of ensuring that he trains daily. His result is predictable from those actions. Now, I remember, because these medical issues, I'm married to a medical doctor, so I have a bit of an understanding on that. When we got married, personally, it was pretty obvious that everybody was looking forward to, I'll get my own kids and all that. 1 year, no show. 2 years, no show. Of course, married to a medical doctor, that's quickly explains, let's check ourselves out to find out what's going on. What are we up against? Even in our Christianity, Christian walk, the issue is to get to know what you are up against so that you know how to apply it. Even it helps you to know how to even pray, not talk of, this is what I issue. That's what the Bible talks about, the issue of don't pray amiss, pray pointedly, target what you know about, and so that you'll be specific in your prayers. So here we were, we now did test, of course. At that level, people are easy to explain it out, or is the woman's problem. So of course the woman went in for the checks herself and came up with some issues which she was involved in the past, which things were straightened in her womb, which was cleared all the additions. That was as a result of evacuations was now strengthened to make passage for I say conception. But it stopped there, and nothing also came out. So this time around, I was the one who was now presented to do. At my greatest shock, I found out that I had issues. The issues that had to do with the results. Results had issues of motility, morphology, all those slangs, and the doctors don't understand. And it pretty was bad in terms of percentage. And my wife looked at it and said, honey, with this result medically, it appears we're in a deep trouble. Of course, that stirred up some discomfort in me. It's like, no, where did I get it from? That's why I'm very passionate about things of faith and medicine, to know where there is the nexus of how to handle matters like that. So I now said, wow, so this is what it is. My wife looked at my eyes and said, this is the truth, nothing about it, and we just have to trust God for it. There were certain medications that were given to boost. Of course, they don't help. Eventually, 5 years along the line, I got my first child. And the irony about it is that the condition had not changed. Because I did that out of curiosity to find out what happened. And even in medicine, there are exceptional cases like that. Very gray areas. And I needed to, and thank God he's a medical doctor, so he can attest to it. Some place where even the gynecologist then could not explain. He said, in fact, the gynecologist that handled, he was a product of St. Nicholas in Lagos. So the gynecologist said something. He said, told my wife then, who is also a medical doctor, working under him, saying, listen, what made you go and marry this person? Didn't you check? You understand what I mean? Why can you go and marry a fine man like this? If I check, you did not, why did you? And it sounded rational. And of course, my wife came back and said, okay, if this is what medicine says, let's trust our God. And it did happen. 5 years, got the first. 3 years after, I got the second.
Wow.
Oftentimes, I tell people, personally, I will not advise anybody to be involved in, to stay away from taking contraceptives. Because even in the medicine, anything that you apply should be that suits you, not just generic. Just take anything from it, because the body systems are also different. Now, coming back to your story or your question, I had made up my mind that whether or not my conception would definitely, our being able to bring out a show will happen, and it did happen. And I'm not going to say this is a doctrine that someone should practice or should pick it up hook, line, and sinker. But for me, by the special grace of God, we waded through. We even had a third. And from then till now, I've never been engaged in any form of contraception, but I will never advise anybody to believe my story and do same. Because my faith saw me through. That's what I'm saying.
That's faith at work. That's never medical.
Honestly.
Okay.
So I'm a proud parent. But one concept we made up our minds were that we were going to be stuck. So when you ask me if 15 years somebody doesn't have, there are pretty options available based on your faith and your persuasion. And this faith I'm talking about is not just a faith in God, but what is your convictions about what options you have. We've had instances people adopt. We have instances, I have my own wife's younger sister went through surrogacy. It worked after 18 years of marriage. So there are options like that for people. People do IVF, they also succeed. And all that. So I think even in the long run, try that your choices are based on a well-informed...
Sorry to cut you in. There are also issues of people who have menopausal.
Oh, yes.
They can still have a child of their own.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes, although it's not going to be their own eggs. But if she had a freezing before now, she can reactivate those freeze eggs and use it.
Okay, so since we're having this conversation now, let's begin to talk about the things we should look out for when we're trying to pick a partner medically. Talking to you now, doctor.
Okay. My boss here is married to a doctor, and she did do all these things. Well,
a doctor by proxy.
Go ahead. Let me hear.
The first thing first in this part of the world.
People worry about the women, thinking that the problem will always come from the woman. Forgetting that the man can also be the problem.
I shared my story to encourage our listeners that here it was. What presented this first is the woman should be checked. You understand? That's a conception.
Correct.
But it failed to find out that I rather was the issue. And I've moved on. That's the beauty of it.
And it becomes a story for others to learn from. So in fact,
it will shock you to know that I still have the results till today. Sometimes I bring it down and be staring at.
Okay, so you're about to tell us what we should look out for.
Of course, to check your genotype. Genotype is either AA, AS, SS, or there's a fourth one that we call AC. All right. So people are said to be compatible if at least one of the partner is AA. If you have both partners AS, that's not compatible, or you have any one of the if both partners have an S in their genotype, they are not compatible. The chances are one way or the other, there's a possibility of having a child that is going to be SS, and that can be a strain in a marriage setting. Other tests available, the woman can go for a hormonal profile to check her hormonal level, do a scan of her womb, like our boss just mentioned now. It can also, the man can go for a seminal fluid analysis just to ensure that the sperm cells are in order. I think basically those are the major tests to be done. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's come back and talk about the other things that people don't talk about in this part. Those years when people didn't really pay attention to the medicals, they were using the traditional method to achieve certain things. Looking at where we are now, For example, if I say this in our local dialect, they might say, just this afternoon I was talking to a friend, they might say, 𝗂𝗲𝗲𝗃. But we 𝗂𝗲𝗲𝗃𝗃. Abba. It might say, 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗃 going on, 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃, but you know, 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗃 do you give them yakase kana arogidap. Might say, ye rutunyan. Rutunyan, but Rami, doctor said, you can put three to say, Urugunam Chang, Urugunam Kong. Give me a compare this to looking at the traditional method and what we now have.
You see,
is there any danger?
If we want to go on this journey, not finish this thing today. Yeah, opening a new conversation altogether. But let me see, I can summarize it. First and
because
foremost,
why I'm saying this is we talked about pregnancy here, and then I recall where I was growing up, we had a woman who had a similar issue, and then one woman was brought from the village. And funnily enough, after that whole process, the woman conceived.
It may still not be why the woman conceived. How do you prove it?
But you make a result now. You made after that. But you get some African nama. You get even a word in the from bottom.
You know why science? Science is something that is empirical. It's reproducible. Even if you go to Mars, you do the same thing, and it works. Anything that you can do and you cannot reproduce it somewhere else, that's a question mark. And that's where faith, like he was saying, comes in.
All right, I'll pick some bills when I return. We'll continue with the conversation. I'll keep it locked at XL106.9 FM. Don't go nowhere.
Want to smell fresh and nice all day? Then think KechDona Just Fragrance. KechDona Just Fragrance is one-stop shop for all kind of fragrance like designers perfume, Arabian perfumes, day-to-day fragrance, kiddies perfumes, deodorants, body sprays, body splash and mist, kiddies perfumes, home fragrance, diffusers and humidifiers, car fragrance, etc. and many more. At KechDona Just Fragrance, you have got nothing to worry about because we understand your fragrance need. So visit us today at number 143 Oron Road, Uyo, or call us on 0816-80-32070 or send us a WhatsApp message on 0816-80-32070. Instagram handle at KechDona Just Fragrance. KechDona Just Fragrance. Your scent speaks volume.
All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Deep Conversations here on XL106.9 FM with 𝗚𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗏. I have with me in the studio of XL106.9 FM Dr. Etuk, and I have Dr. Engineer Etuk and Dr. Pius Okon. I put it also wrong again. I'm a yuck. All right, so welcome back. Thank you so much. All right, so we needed to pick that bill and thank our dear sponsors for being a part of what we do here on XL106.9 FM. Special shout out to KechDona Fragrance Oil Bar, the first oil bar that will be coming to the city of Uyo on the 4th and 5th of July. I don't know where you want to be. I'll be somewhere around number 109 to also create a unique scent for myself. But I was a 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗃 perfume. I say, you may rather go food kiddo song, but you're going to get your better. I will cannot dindo. How do I care your for 𝗖𝗃𝗃𝗃 𝗃𝗃𝗃 could song around by Tep supermarket. I be better ke yo seni nang, yo seni tune. Ke fiona be wong you dong do. They on say bunam. Ton kan ka do for you need around there. They said I be kan nam no ne ke don them. Boss ke bo song ka Dubai do. Bo song ka maybe fi ke nanga. E be hear this song kwai. Thanks to owners of KechDona Just Fragrance, number 143 Oron Road. I'm even in the song you. Don't fuck it. Okay, so a quick recap. But before we go back to that, let's play a game. You know the game. You're very familiar with the game already. I don't know if I should excuse you guys because you've played before, but then just so that the people joining us for the very first time can get to also meet our guests. I'll start with you, Doctor. What will you do, God forbid, if your wife... How long have you been married?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, so let's assume, God forbid, that you did not have a child 10 years after, what method will you use? Fate?
Combination of faith. And then applying the other methods that engineer was talking about. I mean, there are solutions everywhere. You don't have to box yourself up into one particular spot.
Okay,
there's
so
IVF available, there is adoption, there is surrogacy available. Why do you have to box yourself into one spot?
Okay, surrogacy, adoption, they give any yibi on this and family.
Oh my God.
I say, boy, they give any yibi no. Don't family them telling any man, they are no welcome bog when you go adopted to you know, this and family.
See, most people wait until when it is too late before they now think of adoption. Why not do these things early? You know?
All right, but IVF is not 100%. It fails sometimes.
Notwithstanding, you can meet the experts that have good percentage when it comes to the results.
All right, so next question will be, assume I'm a 35-year-old woman, and you said menopause is in the 40s.
Yeah.
Okay, so say I'm 38, but I'm scared that before I get married, I will be maybe more than 40, for instance. Should I freeze my eggs and use it later?
Yes. Sir.
Or should I still have faith and believe that whenever I get married, God will give me a child?
Freeze the eggs.
Freeze the eggs.
Talking like a doctor now. Freeze the eggs. Yeah, freeze the eggs.
Does the same thing apply to men?
Yes, you can also freeze the sperm cells as well.
At what age will you advise a man to begin to freeze their sperm?
Well, it's not really obtainable for men. Like I said, even at 70, you can still father a child. But if you want to have good quality seeds, that will not cause problem, that will not grow and be like you that man that mentioned will become a problem to him, or come down with one medical issue or the other, then you freeze the seeds. Yeah. There's a chance that the seeds production, the older the age, the poorer the quality. So if you do that earlier, try to procreate earlier, there's a chance that you will not have all those issues. So it's not just women, also the men as well.
All right, so are these things affordable?
The cost is slightly on the high side. When you look at the standard of living in Oyo, I think that I would say it's on the high side. It's around 3 to 5 million naira.
And to freeze your eggs.
Yes, and you still need to be paying some certain monies every year to like maintenance fee, you know. So those are.
So what's the security? What if you freeze your egg and then when you need it, they now give you another person's own?
Oh, that's a legal, both a legal and ethical issues, and the medical experts should be able to avoid that from happening. Okay.
But are there chances? Okay,
it shouldn't.
We shouldn't be
possible to have all those human errors, but we shouldn't be talking about it at this level of how sensitive the issue is. You carry another man's seed and that you shouldn't be talking about.
But we've seen it now. We've seen things like that happen. People give birth in a hospital, and then child A was given to Mr. B.
If that happens, that's criminal.
It's not even medical. It's purely high-level negligence or not being careful.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's acceptable.
It's not acceptable.
Even if it's been observed. It's something. To a certain degree, it's even unexcusable.
Yes, it's criminal. I would say it's criminal.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so do you prioritize male child to a female child or a female child to male child? Direct question. Yes or no?
A child is a child, male or female.
Male or female.
It doesn't matter the sex.
Okay.
Will
you vote a woman to be a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
I'll allow our engineer to answer.
No, I'm coming to you. No, I'll cross over to engineer, but let me ask you. Will you vote a woman to become a...
Provided it's going to give us the best governance we need in this country, then why
you
not?
Can't tell, but then a woman comes up with very fantastic manifesto and then meets all requirements to be president. Will you vote for a woman to be the president?
Like I said, if by any means we manage to foresee and see that she's going to do well.
You're not the same way you voted for the current government. You did not see that fear will be, I mean, I don't want to go into details, but then will you vote a woman, yes or no?
I'll vote a good woman. Why
You
not?
vote a good woman.
Why not?
Okay, just like you vote a good man.
Yes.
Very good. All right, engineer, I'll come to you now. On a scale of 0 to 10, rate how regular you are in church.
Almost 98%.
About the minute took my transcript through for
In terms of attendance, I think
98.
98%. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How did you manage that period when the doctor told you that you might have that difficulty of having a child?
In all honesty, it's not a good place to be. Personally, when even the gynecologist then, I can't forget him, he made an exclamation, where is this coming from? Because it was some element of abnormality, and which then, or at least with the explanations I had, there are things that do happen and you just wonder where it came from. I don't know whether it's genetic, then I can't even recall how he explained it for, but it did a lot of damage to my psyche then. You just wake up and this is something I never even thought of. Like presently, there's certain information we have now that probably will make you being predisposed to checking things before. But then it was not something we knew or I knew. And I found myself in there and here I was. I had to deal with it. Like I told you about that 72-year-old guy and his child, something just comes upon you and here you are. You are waking to a reality and you have to solve the problem. And for me, I went through a period of,
And considering the fact that it wasn't just you had a wife.
Yes, you see,
how did you manage that?
What made it even beautiful is that we were on the same wavelength about, we're going to wade it through together.
Oh, okay. That made it easy for you.
That made it easier.
Yeah.
And then to also see someone who has a medical knowledge, solid medical knowledge, to assist me, and to make it very clear that this is what we are up against. For me, it's something, it formed a serious impression going forward, even till today. I had an opportunity of working in teaching hospital, and I keep telling people, I say, listen, in anything that you are up against, particularly in the medical issue, get to know what you're dealing with. Most of the things you hear people complain of in most hospitals, it's most of the casualties you find out is as a result when they've gone round and exhausted other options. So by the time they come into these institutions, they said it's the institution that killed them. And most of the medical personnel, from the little interactions I've had with them, they will say, they've got into a place where it's more like it's almost terminal, as it were, which is a function of failure for early detection and applying the right medications.
Okay, so engineer, because we're talking about this, there is a question I skipped at the genesis of this program because I didn't know how to handle that. But because we're talking about this and it's close, similar, let me just talk about it once and for all. I recently noticed that my husband is an homosexualist. I run into him and his best friend in a parlor. How do I handle this?
Wow.
You're married to a man and the man is having an affair with another man. How do you handle that? And things like this wasn't common around here. I'm just getting to hear that you now have pockets of these things in Rio. We didn't used to have something like this before. So where is all of this coming from?
I absolutely frown at that. It doesn't sit with my belief system, and it's one of the greatest shock I could even observe. I don't even want to give it a thought to talk about embracing it. So definitely to traumatize. I mean,
now I'm talking about couple who want to.
Oh no, fortunately, fortunately also. We have instances where people have their weird lifestyle or weird or what you can call perversions, or and it's now being classified that's the way I'm made up. And I have issues with some of those things. And as much as we are trying to create a room, instead of dealing with the issues and finding a therapy which does not sit with the conditions we see, doesn't sit with our society values, we are rather making room to see that those oddities are a way of life. People should tolerate them.
Because
so I would rather prefer that even when instances like that are also observed, we need to help those people out.
Okay, I have a direct question. Still on that, I have 1 minute, but I need you to answer this if you can. The Bible allows you to, in the case of infidelity, move away from your couple, from your partner, apart from saying that death will do you part. But this is you cheating on your wife. If you're seen with another man, will you say that it's enough for this woman to excuse this man?
Well, that's what the scripture says. But I also am of the opinion, from what I've also seen in that same scripture, where even in the extreme cases, people have the right to let go, forgive, and to move on.
What are you advising this couple to do now?
This couple, if you can't take it, you see, one thing is to have something ruling over you in terms of whom you yield to. I'm careful about this answer because it does not in any way subscribe to the fact that people should fault others, you should sin, you should get into adultery, you should do this. No, absolutely not. But I've also seen instances where people get in there, they have had the cause to recover from it.
Okay. All right, last question. How will you handle this? God forbid. What's your advice for this woman who is finding it very difficult to forgive a husband who is sleeping with another man? Because if you allow me, I'll just say, Auntie, just pack your for your sanity, just pack your bags and go. The Bible even allows you, because if you're trying to say that I'm trying to manage this situation and not spoil my marriage and all of that, till death do me part, do us part rather. The Bible allows you to divorce your husband in the case of infidelity. So I'm saying, I'm not forcing words, but I'm saying, in your opinion, what do you think?
Actually, that's what I had in mind, but very, very difficult situation. I think I will excuse myself from such.
You excuse yourself. All right. I'm with you in that WhatsApp group, my brother. Feel free to excuse them. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the size of the show for tonight. We'll be back on the radio same time next week. Thank you for keeping us company. I had with me in the studios of XL106.9 FM, engineer Etuk. I won't call you doctor again, don't worry. And then Dr. Pius Okon.
Maybe you'll be the one to give me that degree.
So thank you guys for being part of what we do here. Doctor, thank you. Engineer, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
anytime
me.
I call you, you find a way to come here. I like that, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have many other questions, but I couldn't take all of them. I'll move the remaining till next week, and God willing, when we return, we'll try to do justice to some of your questions. But then, if I am to advise you, the last message I took, if you're a lady and you're listening, I am saying, if it's going to affect your sanity, do the needful. But if you can manage it, engineer said you can forgive. There's a place of forgiveness in the Bible. Feel free. But I'm going to about me. You know, got me. The hour cup. Go on board for. Can the organ be nam? The organ one of the AI and change revealing it. They say I say, but I'm going to can, because I hear that it is a bit addictive. You guys can find a way around. That's the size of the show for today. Thank you. And special thanks to KechDona, Oil Fragrance, and BluGrin Fabrics. Have a good evening.